adult education centers. National Exhibition and Investment Forum recommends women economic empowerment. And government and development partners renew commitment promoting education for refugees. It is 27th of June 2025 and we welcome you to SSBC 8 p.m. News. I am Akuch Maker. And now we begin with South Sudanese women leaders. During the conclusion of the Women Leaders Conference, have reignited their calls for increased participation in peace building, governance and national development by signing a resolution that underscores their collective commitment to shaping a more inclusive and peaceful nation. We have the report.
In a renewed push to address challenges to gender equity in political representation and equal opportunities in the country, participants at the conference emphasized the urgent need for full implementation of the 35% affirmative action provision as stipulated in the revitalized peace agreement, with women leaders fiercely signed a resolution that underscored their collective commitment to inclusion. Vice President and Chairperson for Service Delivery Cluster, Josephine Joseph Lago, commended the participants for their active advocacy for equal opportunities, highlighting the government's ongoing commitment to advancing girl education as a cornerstone for sustainable and transformative change.
The responsibility here for the older women is that you encourage younger girls who are of school age to go to school. And when they go to school, let them remain in school. They should not be removed from school. They should not be distracted with early marriage and anything like that. They should remain in school. And if they have the capability, let them also go to university. Let them go to colleges. Let them go and graduate as doctors, lawyers, engineers. Let them become politicians in the future. Let them become teachers. We have challenges, but we also have opportunities. This is what we can do to encourage the younger generation of girls and women to ensure that they actually take advantage of education.
The Speaker of National Parliament, Right Honorable Jemanunu Kumba, emphasized that sustained political will is crucial for the successful completion of the transitional period and for South Sudan is long-term peace and development.
The concerns raised here by all of you about gender equality, inclusive participation, protection of women and girls' rights, and the necessity for sustained political will are critical for the successful ending of the transitional period and beyond. It is our responsibility as leaders to champion these issues, advocate for the implementation of the peace agreement, advocate for gender-sensitive policies, advocate for holding elections at the end of this transition, and ensure that the voice of women, girls, and other marginalized groups are prioritized in decision-making processes.
The Minister of Parliamentary Affairs, Medina Y. Martin, reiterated that South Sudanese women have the potential to foster peace and drive development if they are granted equal opportunities.
We have interacted with different stakeholders and we have gained confidence in this conference. This is the assurance that we are ready to participate and we are ready to advocate for peace, to be peace builders, to advocate for girls' education, to advocate for development in this country.
It's been about peace, it's been about South Sudan, it's been about women's inclusion. That's what it should be. So what's next? That's down to you. But don't stop. Keep going here in Juba and take this to the States. But for UNMISS, we'll support.
And civil society representative concluded with a strong commitment to champion initiatives that empower women and girls.
The 2 days women conference was organized by the Concerns for Women and Children, the organization of the First Lady, with support from United Nations in South Sudan. Ayuering Arop, and this is SSBC News, Juba.
Thanks, Ayun, for that report. Now, in a related development, participants at the conclusion of the Women Leaders Conference have emphasized the importance of including South Sudanese women in the decision-making process as pursued in the law. They also recommended the expansion of adult education centers aimed at providing underprivileged women with access to education later in life. We have the report.
Against the backdrop of persistent challenges to gender parity in political representation and equal opportunities during the transitional period, South Sudanese women leaders, under the guidance of the First Lady Mary Ayan Mayadit, have convened to address these issues to pave the way for the greater inclusion of the women in leadership and decision-making roles as a component of broader socio-economic development. The discussion focused on the expansion of the vocational training centers for women, the construction of affordable housing and healthcare facilities for vulnerable women, and increasing awareness around environmental issues. The Undersecretary in the Ministry of Gender, Child and Social Welfare, Esther Ekere Eluzai, challenged women to use the insight gained to raise awareness about the pollution and the climate change, which disproportionately affect women and children across the country.
When we talk about climate change becomes a multiple threat multiplier, because already we have existing issues, existing contexts where women are very vulnerable. But when climate change comes in, it creates multiple problems to women within the communities. So it affects resource, it affects displacement, but also it brings on issues of competition, which leads to conflict.
Representing the First Lady, the chairperson of the Board of Directors for Concern for Women, Mary Nyaulang, commended participants for their active engagement in advocating for gender equality policies that recognize the vital role of women in nation building.
In closing, I would like to remind each of you that you are the embodiment of hope and resilience. As we move forward, let us do so with determination and shared vision for a brighter, more equitable future for women and children everywhere. Thank you for your dedication, your passion, and your unwavering commitment to this important cause.
Participant Representative Susan Adwok Nyaba echoed the call for unified disarmament of the armed militias to allow women safely return to their societies, to engage in agriculture and pursue their education.
First and foremost, we have an issue of armed militias in the country. If the Ministry of Defense, Ministry of Interior, together with the Presidency and the Ministry of Interior in the states, if they could disarm these armed militias, I think our women and children can go back to the states and gain education and knowledge. And that is how we can bring up our leaders, our future leaders.
Karina Ajok, Secretary for Gender at the South Sudan National Youth Union, highlighted the need to establish adult education centers in rural areas across all the levels of societies, enabling women to pursue the education and contribute to the nation building.
We are there as representatives, but we have no voice. So we need implementation of 30% of ours to be given. We have understood in this conference that there is a need of engagement, not criticism. Leadership, not victimhood. We need ideas, not gossip. Love versus hatred. So, for us women who are ahead, we have to love ourselves, we engage the government, and we lead.
The conference concluded with the signing of the resolution Concern for Women and Children and the United Nations Mission in South Sudan. Reporting for SSBC, I am August Keun, Juba.
Star International University graduates 90 students in various fields. Speaking during the event, the senior presidential advisor, Kwal Manyang Ju, called on the graduates to play a transformative role in the country. Isaac Ludoro has more in the story.
Star International University holds the 40 graduation under the theme Academic Excellence for Professional Growth. Speaking at the event, the senior presidential advisor Kwal Manyang Juk says human development is through education. He calls upon the graduates to be creative and help in addressing the challenges confronting the country.
We have fertile soil, we have water in abundance, we have sunshine, and these are the sources of life. We transform the human being through education, relieve food.
Sense of where they live. And we can achieve this by putting aside our pride that I did a degree, but by asking us to.
So I wish all of you to continue with the journey. The journey is not a day today. You have finished degree, you go for your master's.
Dr. Edmond Mangi, University Deputy Vice Chancellor for Academic Affairs, appeals to the parents to prioritize girl-child education.
Parents who are here today, the invited guests who are here today, let us play a fundamental role in seeing that our girl child is taken to higher education. At the end of the day, they become the personnel and they serve the nation. They help themselves as well as they also support their husbands and their children, their different families.
Officials in the university promise to adhere to the national education policy that stresses quality education. Isaac Ludori Emmanuel, SSBC News.
The general political and security situation in Lake State is calm and stable as the inhabitants are going about with their daily activities. Governor Ring Twain Mabor conveyed a comprehensive security update to the Presidential Advisor on National Security Affairs, Madun Dutiel, in Juba on Friday. According to the governor, the people of Lake State are united to ensure sustainable peace and prosperity of the state. Security Advisor Dut commended Governor Ring for his efforts towards stabilizing the state. And now we are taking our first short break. Stay tuned. We'll be back with more stories after the break. Welcome back from that short break. Now to proceed with our news bulletin. Government and partners on Thursday convened to strengthen continued partnership towards implementation of the Public Financial Management Reform Strategy Project. The Ministry of Finance Under Secretary for Planning, Benjamin Ayali Koyongwa, described the project as important. This, he says, is part of the implementation of the Revitalized Peace Agreement particularly Chapter 4 that gives Finance Ministry responsibility to expedite robust economy. The Public Financial Management established in 2020 with support from development partners like the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP is overseeing and undertaking reforms within the country's economy. Deputy Foreign Minister Akwei Bona and the Deputy Commissioner General of South Sudan Revenue Authority, Taban Abel, as well as the Norwegian Deputy Ambassador, whose country support the public financial management reforms through UNDP, attended the meeting.
We had the steering committee meeting for public finance management the reform strategy project. This project is very, very important because it supports the PFM reforms for the government as part of the implementation of revitalized agreement for the resolution of conflict in the Republic of South Sudan, particularly focusing on Chapter 4, which gave the Ministry of Finance and the government to implement the PFM reforms. We were supported by Norwegian government through implementation of the UNDP. And this project is very important for us as a government because we have been implementing the PFM reforms for the last 5 years, and we still wanted to continue to implement because reform is a process which is very, very important for us. And we thank the Norwegian government and the Norwegian people for their continuous support to us through UNDP.
Universities in South Korea and United Arab Emirates pledge scholarship for South Sudanese willing to pursue various professions. This follows a meeting with the Minister of Higher Education, Madun Biar, who visited South Korea recently, following an invitation by Father Lee Foundation. In a statement to the media, Minister Madud says after his mission to South Korea, he proceeded to United Arab Emirates, where he met the president of American University, who also pledged some scholarships for South Sudanese to study in the field of medicine and agriculture, among others.
The president of the two universities, one is Yangtze University, which is actually the second largest university in South Korea. They also committed themselves that they are going to give us a scholarship as soon as we are ready. And also I met Hong Kong University, which I went and gave lectures to these two universities. They are very pleased that they want to support the students from South Sudan in the field of agriculture and medicine and as education. I had also a chance to meet with the president of American University in UAE, where actually the vice chancellor also committed himself that they are going to. The mission was very, very successful, and I and my delegation, we have really.
The second edition of the National Exhibition and Investment Forum, organized by the Ministry of Investment in collaboration with the Better Together Association, concluded in Juba on Thursday. The forum focused on women's contributions to national economy. We have the report.
The National Exhibition and Investment Forum demonstrates the role of women in encouraging national production, cottage industry, and trade in local produce. Despite the increasing role of women in the national economy, women are variously severely constrained, most notably in funding, planning, and legal protection. Addressing the conclusion of the forum on Thursday, the Minister of Wildlife Conservation and Tourism, Riza Zakaria Hassan, cheers women to handle the little capital they may have diligently.
السياسة النقدية هي self correcting، يعني بيصلح نفسه براه، لكن بيحتاج انه الناس يلموا يدينهم كلهم عشان يتضافروا الجهود وينموا يمشوا لقدام. عشان كده نفتكر المخرج بتاع اقتصادنا انه نحن ندير الاقتصاد نحن. والليله ده بدايه بتاعت اداره الاقتصاد. جنوبيات بالتحديد يكون عندهم موقع بالشكل القدامي ده. معناه نحن بدينا ندير الاقتصاد. عندنا نصيحه واحده عشان انت تمشي بالمشروع اللي انت قايم بيه بيحتاج انك تكون حذر جدا في التعامل مع راس مالك.
He likens women's trade to an effective energy in recycling the national economy, stressing at the same time the need to support women in the struggle.
وده من حقنا نفتخر بأنه عندنا في استثمارات في جنوب السودان قائمة، وده مستقبل باهر بالنسبة لنا. ده ورى مستوى الاجتهادات الناسنا قايمين عليه، ورى مستوى المسؤوليات القائمة في الأسر، لأنه الأسرة لما تطلع إنسان منتج لغاية ما يوصل مرحلة تعارض معناه الأسرة في يد أمينة إن شاء الله. لأنه أنا متأكد بين الناس الحسة في القاعدة كل زول حسة لو لقى إيراد بسيط بدفع في رسوم مدرسة، لقيت حاجة بسيط بتجيبوها كل العيال، لقيت حاجة بسيط بتديربوه الحاجات الضروريات من مستشفى وما شابه ذلك. بمعنى انه انتوا في القاعده انتوا بتقدموا انتوا بتدوروا الاقتصاد بتاع جنوب السودان.
The Minister of Investment, Dr. Dio Motokding, underlines the importance of standards in the national manufacturing industry and contributions of the electronic market and social media.
الفخر ده ما بيمشي إذا كان المرأة بالذات ما نشيطة في مجال الاقتصاد. عشان كده ضروري جدا نحن نكثف الجهود وندعم شديد القطاع النسوي بالذات في السوق في التجارة. انتوا سوق بتاعكم ما جنوب السودان فقط. أنا دايركم انتوا بالمنتجات اللي شفناه هنا ده تهتم شديد بالمواصفات عشان ما انه تغزو السوق بتاع شرق افريقيا.
The forum chairperson, Christine Meling, praises women for toiling hard for the success of the National Exhibition and Investment Forum.
يمكن هنا بنخطط بقول دارين نعمل معرض لكن بدونكم الترابيزة حتكون فاضية. عشان كده أنا داير أشكر كل زول اشترك، كل زولة اجتهدت. أنا مفتخر بكم جدا كمرأة جنوبية للشغل اللي انتوا قاعدين تعملوه كمجموعة بيتا توجذر. احنا مشكورين خالص لدعمكم عشان انتوا جيتوا وانضميتوا معنا وبقينا كتيم واحد لأنه اليد الواحد ما بيصفي.
South Sudanese are well known for their sharp appetite for foreign products. It is high time we accept our local products and apply them constructively to define our national identity. Martin Justin Paul Kose, SSBC, Juba.
South Sudan and Egypt are exploring avenues to deepen bilateral cooperation. This came during a meeting between the Deputy Foreign Minister Akwe Boana Malwal and Egyptian Ambassador to South Sudan, Mohamed El Motes. The discussion centered on strengthening cooperation between Juba and Cairo across multiple sectors. Deputy Minister emphasized the importance of enhancing Juba-Cairo ties, highlighting the pursuit of shared benefits for both countries. Speaking to SSBC, Ambassador Motes reaffirmed the historical bonds between Egypt and South Sudan.
We tackled a lot of important issues and important files between the two countries, especially how to enhance the cooperation between the two countries in different fields. We also stressed about historical and about sisterly two countries, Egypt and South Sudan, and we will cooperate together for the benefit of the two peoples here in South Sudan.
We are out for another break. Stay with us. Welcome back from that short break. Now, the steering committee for country's fiber optics implementation project under the chairmanship of the Deputy Minister of Information, Communication Technology and Postal Services, David Yao Yao, has passed over a $9 million budget to begin the process of the project. The ministry's Undersecretary for Telecommunication, Thomas Gatquoth, revealed this on Friday following lengthy discussion by the steering committee on phase 2 of the project. The project coordinator, Abraham March, says this would be followed by signing of contract with the companies and experts selected to design and lay down the country's fiber optics.
A special budget is allocated out of the main budget, which is 67 million. So a budget of approximately 9.3 million is allocated for this year to make all those preparations. So we hope everything will be on track and we will be going on with the first stage of the project this year before we go to the other year. After finishing that connectivity, the project will also do with what we called last mile and also other services associated with it. Especially
the Deputy Commissioner for Refugees Affairs and African Union laid the foundation stone for construction of classrooms to accommodate refugees, learners, and the host community at Goram refugees camp in Juba. The delegation also donated food and non-food items to the refugees. In a statement to SSBC, the Deputy Commissioner for Refugees Affairs, John Dabi, says construction of additional classrooms will reduce overcrowding, adding that the delegation would help with stationaries to facilitate learning. The representative of African Union, Churchill, says the act symbolizes the union's commitment to addressing the problems facing refugees.
It has been a comprehensive visit from the African Union. This is a symbol of solidarity that African Union is shown towards the Republic of South Sudan. This is a great solidarity and friendship for a nation like our nation, which is a new nation in the country, in the world, and a new nation in Africa, being looked at in a very positive way by the African Union.
I know the situation in which you are. I have been sent here, me and my brothers and members of this delegation, to come here and see the situation and also to show some solidarity from the African Union. We have come here to show today that whenever anybody is in crisis, is in problems, we are with you people.
It has been a comprehensive visit from the African Union. This is a symbol of solidarity that African Union is shown towards the Republic of South
Sudan Revenue Authority, in a meeting chaired by Commissioner General Simon Akwideng, focuses on strengthening internal systems and improving revenue collections and compliance mechanism. Speaking to senior management, Akwideng read out the 17th agenda seeking to review performance, accelerate reforms, and streamline operations across departments. Akwi highlighted on revenue collection reform, new tariff book proposal, called for a revised tariff book, budget reporting, human resource reform, including restructuring and staff welfare, revenue collection, auditing banks, staff rotation policy, SSR taxpayer registration campaign, UN agencies without withholding tax compliance, review of tax obligations to enhance public awareness and public awareness campaign.
If you are a UN staff, you don't pay taxes. Because the UN deduct from your salary what is called excess fund. Excess fund is paid to General Assembly in the UN as a contribution from the Republic of South Sudan directly. So if you are a UN contracted staff, then you don't pay salaries. You pay access, which is the government of South Sudan money in that note. So we are not targeting those ones. But there are contractors who also present themselves as UN. We are talking about so many of them that are working within inside UN. They are the ones who have many staff. Most of the staff belong to the contracted companies of UN. And they are supposed to pay taxes, but they are hiding in the UN. IMDAD is one of them. IMDAD has a staff working inside UNIMIS, inside, in a VA. They are not UN. They are a UN contracted company to deliver services. So IMDAD and the staff of IMDAD are taxpayers. But where are they? They are inside UNIMIS. And they carry, their cars are written UN when they are driving around. But in actual sense, they are not UN. So they have to pay business profit tax and they have to pay VAT. But when they come to you here outside, you will see a very big UN on their cars. But they are not. So these are the people that we are looking for, and I told the Secretary General, representative here, that we need these people. When we write to you letters, we don't know them, you are the one who knows them. Can you lift the veil? You lift the veil so that we can see them. Because they are behind the...
Pujulu community appreciates President Kiir for entrusting Governor Rabi Mujuk Emmanuel to lead Central Equatoria State. The community, led by Dr. Martin Ilie Lomuro, who is also the National Minister of Cabinet Affairs, paid a courtesy call on Governor Mujuk to congratulate him for winning the trust of the President. Speaking during the meeting in Juba on Friday, Governor Mujuk stresses commitment to working closely with the people of Central Equatoria State to address their concerns. The governor emphasized on the collective efforts to foster peace, security, and development in the state.
Our intention here is to stand with him as a leader of Central Equatoria State. We stand with him in leading this great state. Today, we have delivered our congratulation message through our chairman, Dr. Martin Ilie Lomuro. Then he delegated me as the deputy to say these few words for our coming and congratulate him for his appointment as the new governor for Central.
Governor Simon Ober Maud has officially opened a new road linking Ayai Payam Awil South County headquarters. The 15-kilometer road connects Ayai Payam with Maleng Anen of Awil South County. Governor Maud emphasized the road's transformative potential. The acting Minister of Roads, Dominic Kang, says the road will significantly improve livelihoods and strengthen community resilience across the region by enhancing access to markets, services, and opportunities. The World Food Programme spearheaded the construction work in collaboration with the Northern Bahr Ghazal State Government and the European Union.
The completion of this road has addressed a number of issues. One of them is the access to the market. Our progressive farmers from this area will now be transporting their farm produce to the markets in Awil. You have heard people also spoke about difficulties, especially our mothers here used to face in this area. I think this issue has also been addressed. Now, hospital. This road will be supervised by the ministry, as we have some engineer inside the ministry, and will encourage also the people of Ayai community to stand with the ministry in order to maintain this road.
This road is not just an asset for the community, it's actually a vital lifeline connecting 36 villages, 3 primary schools, 2 health centers, and most importantly, connecting.
Reverting attention to immigration matters, the Department of Immigration has raised concern over the growing number of foreigners illegally residing in South Sudan, calling it a potential security threat following a meeting of the immigration officials in Juba. The Director General of the Directorate of Nationality, Civil Registry, Passport and Immigration, Major General Ilia Costa Faustino, warned that foreign nationals using refugees card to run businesses and overstaying their visas are violating immigration laws, stating strict enforcement measures to curb illegal stays.
I have a meeting with the old chief of the immigration stations within Juba town, how they can work, especially with the foreigners who are here in the Republic of South Sudan. So we received some complaint that their behavior is not good with them. So I managed to call them so that to tell them that how they can work, and then they can implement the rule of law according to the law of the immigration. They raised their concern also about the foreigners who are here. Some of them doesn't want to come and renew their documents. Some of them are complaining that they are refugees, but they are working in the market. So concerning that one, I told them that we are going to work with the to discuss it with the higher authority, because those who are refugees, you know, the refugees are in camp, but those who are working in the market, we are not considering them as refugees, but they are carrying the refugee card, and then there are business people in the market here, have shops, have companies, but they are claiming that they are refugees. So that one we are going to see it with the higher authority according to the...
The South Sudan Volleyball Federation in its first General Assembly elect members from the 10 states and 3 administrative areas. During the General Assembly, the Minister of Youth and Sport, Dr. Joseph Gang Akech, pointed out the importance of developing sport, assuring government's commitment to improving sport infrastructure in the country.
First, we said that sports cannot develop without a framework of development. And you are sportsmen and women, you know that. So you are sitting on a lot of talent, and a lot of potential, but also expectation. The government will stand shoulder to shoulder with you to ensure that our young people are engaged in sports, in particular volleyball competitions. We will also be working to organize the interstate competition. This has been a long-standing project of the ministry directed by the President, and we will...
The strategic plan signifies not only the aspirations and vision of the South Sudan Volleyball Federation for the coming 2 years, the recognition of the government of the Republic of South Sudan to sports as a transformative power in promoting peace, unity, and economic development. The sports can place the country, and in particular also volleyball, can place the country on the top of regional and global ranks if it's given the deserved attention and support. The dedication and commitment of the steering committee and the supportive leadership of the Ministry of Youth and Sports are opportunities for revitalization of the Federation's vision for volleyball sport in South Sudan.
I
I am sure it's going to go smooth, and of course, you are going to endorse your representative. We are observing as Olympic Committee that volleyball is going to be next for, as our basketball did good performance in the World Cup and Olympic.
And that story finally brings us to the end of our news tonight. We thank you for joining us. Stay tuned and enjoy the rest of the programs coming up. On behalf of the team, I am Akuchi.